Hello everybody, Kane here today with another episode of WildLife Park, and today we are building a Tasmanian Devil exhibit. And I think this is by far the best tropical area exhibit we have made. I don't know, it just has a lot more character, a lot more interest, and I don't know, it looks better than most of the tropical exhibits I've done. Which I think is also the fact that it's been a long time since we worked on the tropical area, and I have definitely improved my zoo building capabilities since we started this section. Anyway, this exhibit was interesting, at least while I was building it, just because it went through a couple metamorphoses, I guess, of what the plan was. You can see I'm digging out this little, semicircle for them to live in, and this was originally just meant to be it. It wasn't meant to be a big, complicated exhibit or that fancy or anything, just a small little semicircle in the ground to hold them. But as I continued working on it, the project kind of evolved and became more complex and larger and more interesting in my opinion, and became something I'm actually really happy with and very proud of. But yeah, so the basic idea was just to create this little semicircle, put a bit of water right next to the semicircle again to keep the animals in, and put a bit of a basic rock wall around just to kind of cap off this little area between the chimpanzees and the Sumatran rhinos. That way, it's not just this weird little empty spot anymore. But as I kept working, and especially on these rock walls here, you'll notice that little pathway that kind of goes up, and that was just there. I think it's part of a cave system or something like that. But I kind of realized that area made a really good little natural walkway up to the top of that hill. So I ended up deciding that hill was going to make a really cool little area for the animals to hide. I just kind of wanted to be more visible to start with, but I kind of realized it'd be kind of cool if it was just like this little area for the Tasmanian devils to hide in. Also, you can see there I'm working on a little cave shelter for them. You can't really see much of that in the time lapse, but when I show you guys the exhibit, when I show off the exhibit in first person, you guys will get a better view of it. It's not I didn't put too much effort into the interior of it because I knew people weren't really going to see inside of it. So, I kind of went with the old idea of, don't put hours of work into something no one's going to see, with an art project type thing, or notice, I guess. Also, I just realized you couldn't really see this in the time lapse, but I used, I don't remember what it's called now. It used to be the dry and wet concrete blocks from Chisel. It's got a new name now because there's actual concrete in the game. But I thought that looked really cool. It gave a bit of interest and weathering to the, what would you call it? The retaining wall, I guess. And I thought it looked cool. It definitely added a bit more interest to the exhibit, I think. But yeah, as you can see here, this is the, I guess, raised up section. I did a small little fence. Wasn't really meant to be super complex or interesting there. Just kind of a way to keep them out. In a lot of ways, this kind of reminds me of just a better version of my Dilophosaurus exhibit I made for the dinosaur series. So if you guys know what that exhibit looks like, that's kind of what this is meant to be, I guess. I did decide to do a waterfall with it because, well, we have that little water area down there, and there was just this really nice natural way to kind of get the water to flow down the hill and look really interesting, and I don't know, I really loved it. And I don't know, this exhibit was fun because there was a lot of really easy ways to get a lot of character into it and really just make it its own thing and really stand out, and I really liked that. I always like little projects like this. It's sometimes fun to take a step back from the massive centerpiece builds like we've been doing recently with the pandas and the gharial and the Asian elephants and all that stuff, and just do these tiny little exhibits that are kind of just their own little things. I don't know. At any rate, I like how this thing turned out. But yeah, I don't have too much else to say about that. A lot of the foliage and the decorations for the exhibit are very similar to what we've done with a lot of other exhibits. For the most part, the rest of this is just me kind of mixing a bit of the old idea or the old decorations with some of the new techniques I've used. So yeah, I'm gonna let the rest of the time that's playing. I'll catch back up with you guys after it to show you off the whole exhibit. All right, everybody, here we are with the final exhibit, I guess. When I was making this originally, I was like, oh, you know, this isn't gonna be that big or complex of an exhibit, and I don't know, it just kind of kept evolving with the terrain and all that, and I don't know, I really like this exhibit. I think it's kind of cool and unique. And I think it very much stands out from the rest of the jungle exhibits we have. I mean, well, yes, it has a big rock wall like a lot of other jungle exhibits, and it has features from very many of them. I think this one stands out because I think you can definitely tell the time difference between when this was built and when this was built, just in the style and the techniques used, because I definitely brought in a lot more of what I kind of figured out with building from, well, the North American section, and then also the Asian section that we have now brought back to this area. But yeah, I don't know, I am absolutely in love with it. I think this is it's a cool little exhibit, and it was a great way to kind of cap off this area, I think, and kind of give it a bit of an interesting little build. I don't know. I wasn't originally gonna include this top area up here either, because, well, I was like, you know, we just need a tiny little area back here, but I don't know, just the fact that there was already this natural, like, lead up here, and, you know, we aren't really gonna put anything else back here, I don't know. I just thought it would kind of look cool, and also, I feel like, considering this area here at least, you know, you can't really look into, or well, you can look into this part super easy, you know, there's not much privacy for the animals, but you can't really see too much up here, so I thought that would work well. Also, I figure this is probably the one thing that isn't going to show up on the time-lapse very well, but we have a little cave for them to sleep in, which I think looks good. Also, can I just say, again, like every time we put a new ZAWA animal in, these models are absolutely fantastic. Man, I love this mod. It's so good when it comes to like how the animals are made, animated, and modeled. It's just, absolutely awesome. Very, very cool. Also, I know this isn't like the most important thing I did, but like, I really like the fact, that I brought the wall over from the Sumatran rhino and just kind of started integrating it into this exhibit as well. I don't know, it kind of gives the zoo a bit more of a connected feel, and this gives it a more connected feel and all that, and I think that's definitely something that needs to happen with this tropical area, especially as we start to expand out this direction to kind of finish off the rest of this before we get on to probably the last couple of areas. Also, I know people have been asking a lot for a reptile house build, and I think that will happen. That one's gonna be, I'm thinking next week we might do a reptile house, but I'm gonna give it a caveat. That will probably be, it's the only wildlife park video that week, if that's what happens. Purely because that's gonna be a couple hours of building, because I'm gonna do it all in one go, so, and I think I have like 10 to 15 reptiles to add in, something like that, I think. Well, it'll be some amphibians too. But we'll have a ton of animals to do, and I wanna make it look good, and I wanna do it in one go. So yeah, it's gonna be quite the episode. It'll probably be a lot longer than these ones have been, but yeah, that should hopefully be good. So I hope you guys are excited for that. So yeah, it is finally gonna happen. But anyway, I think that's all I really have for today. So thank you all for watching. I hope you've all enjoyed. I hope you all like this exhibit. Let me know what you think of it down in the comments below. And until next time, guys, see ya.